Perceiving reality, the intricacies, euro and complexities of perceiving reality. Our mental capacities as humans offer us a myriad of ways to represent the world's structures. These representations can take various forms, such as thoughts, perceptions, beliefs, desires, mental images, and language. In this piece, I will delve into each of these facets, sharing my personal experiences shaped by a lifetime of challenges, victories, and transformations. Thought is a powerful tool. Reflecting on my early years, I realize my thinking was somewhat limited. I believed I excelled in all my undertakings, but failed to truly recognize my unique talents and abilities. This dramatically changed after a severe brain trauma, which resulted in the loss of my mental capabilities, affecting everything on this list. Despite the immense difficulty and setback, I persevered and slowly rebuilt my life. I hope that by sharing my journey of recovery and the consequent loss of mental capacity, you will gain a renewed appreciation for your own abilities. Now, I frequently experience moments of inspired thought as I navigate life's various realities, each offering unique perspectives and lessons. Perception can be complex and often misleading. My early years, which saw me transition into adulthood, were characterized by naivety. I believed life was easy and everything would naturally fall into place. Interestingly, I received messages, which I initially dismissed as mere thoughts, assuring me that everything would eventually turn out fine. Back then, I didn't worry about the future or contemplate it much. I lived in the moment, engaging in risky behaviors such as drunk driving without considering the possible consequences. The potential impact of a car crash on my life and my family's lives didn't cross my mind until decades later. Now, I often reflect on the past, using my experiences for a purpose. I also spend a good amount of time envisioning and planning a promising future. I write about my past not just to revisit it, but also to inspire a refusal in the community to experience anything similar. Belief is a powerful motivator. I admit that my initial beliefs about the world being a harsh place filled with deceit have resurfaced after a period of believing in people's inherent goodness and the world's beauty. Unfortunately, I have encountered lies and deception even in what one might consider divine territories. I have journeyed through various realities, some divinely crafted, others shaped by personal catastrophes. My earlier perception that disabled individuals constantly complain and receive preferential treatment was shattered when I faced the harsh reality of disability. Desire fuels ambition and aspiration. My aspirations have evolved over the years, influenced by my experiences and insights. Despite some of my desires seeming unrealistic to others, I have a clearer vision of my place in the future than ever before. Language connects individuals, cultures, and ideas. I have always appreciated good conversation and effective communication. However, after my brain damage, I struggled with language, including difficulties finding words and temporary speech troubles. Despite these challenges, I continue to use language to share my experiences and insights, hoping to inspire others. Poem. Heed. Embrace creativity, brother. The shadow remains unseen, withheld. Foster a connection, an ordinary yet unique encounter. Turmoil exists, chaos born from a single place, a single cause. Driven by life's intoxication, bilingual effects ripple through ongoing centuries. Authors write their biographies, revealing secrets within the temple's sacred walls. Decipher and abolish. Break codes and tear down barriers. It's a place devoid of mercy. One might wonder, does such a place truly exist? A deep dive into the exploration of Individual identity and the intricate concept of free will. The intricate interplay between culture and psychology shapes the multifaceted concept of identity. Every individual, knowingly or unknowingly, embarks on a journey to form their unique identity, influenced by the various groups, communities, and societies they engage with. This ongoing process of self-formation shapes and contributes significantly to the social order. Let me illustrate this concept with a personal anecdote. Over time, through introspection, I developed a persona born out of my daily writings. In these musings, I found myself representing my best and worst selves, driven by a need for self-discovery. However, I realized this persona was more a product of my creativity and imagination than a true reflection of my identity. It was only when I engaged in social interactions that I understood the inaccuracy of this internal model. Throughout this journey, I received what I describe as celestial guidance, subtly guiding me through recurring suggestions, recommendations, and wisdom from audiobooks. However, this guidance wasn't always welcome. Sometimes, intrusive messages suggested that I had achieved enlightenment, which I hadn't. This journey forced me to revisit my past and question whether I had been guided all along. Was my journey preordained? Were my experiences necessary stepping stones to my current position? This led me to question free will. If our thoughts and actions are constantly influenced, do we truly have free will? Despite living in a world that champions freedom, I often feel constrained by guidance, ego, and duty. Yet, I followed this path, which, though challenging, showcased my determination, resilience, and tenacity. I derive immense satisfaction from my work, one of the few things that bring me genuine joy. I am confident in the value of what I create and believe it contributes to others' transformation and growth. I invite you to join me on this journey of self-discovery and learning. Let's embrace the challenges, celebrate the triumphs, and explore the human psyche together. From the invisible to the visible, an extensive exploration of the transformation of unapparent nonsense into undeniable truth, a comprehensive study on perception and reality. When I first tried to educate my mother about the numerous challenges faced daily by people with disabilities, her initial response was indifferent. It seemed like the situation's gravity barely affected her. However, her understanding and acknowledgement of these issues began to develop when she started observing my environment more closely. She gradually noticed the subtle but significant reactions of those around us wherever we went. The constant, intrusive stares, the shifty, darting eyes, and the upsetting looks of pity and disgust, all aimed at those with disabilities. These observations reminded her of the societal norms and attitudes we constantly confront. It was only when she heard the distressing stories of other individuals living with disabilities that she genuinely understood these instances. A personal experience also served as a wake-up call. Once, a passerby assumed she was drunk as she got out of her car, when she was just dealing with a balance and dizziness issue. This incident's absurdity and ignorance profoundly impacted her perspective. She also experienced firsthand the dismissive attitudes of people who would talk to her while ignoring me, or those with unrealistic and uninformed expectations of me. These experiences led to a significant change in her attitude, revealing truths previously hidden by societal misconceptions and prejudices. Families of individuals who have experienced trauma or live with a disability undoubtedly change and adapt over time. These realities remain largely unseen to the wider community. Unless they have personal experience or have faced similar issues within their own family. This lack of understanding and empathy isn't restricted to the public. Even those working in Day centers for people with disabilities sometimes struggle to understand the stories of societal opposition these individuals share. It's no surprise that there are many assumptions and misunderstandings about people with disabilities. They often have a narrower worldview, conditioned reactions and thoughts, shaped by societal pressures that push them into seclusion. My patience is often tested, leading to a short-tempered disposition. A recent incident in a busy shop where my mother was scanning items at the checkout and I was packing them into bags triggered this. As she tried to hand everything to me instead of placing the items down, our interaction became awkward and I lost my temper. I've heard people muttering to themselves or even shouting, behaving according to the societal image of a mentally ill person or a drunk. Such stigmas often lead to well-meaning, but misguided advice like don't approach these people or be patient and give them time. These stereotypes often exacerbate misunderstanding and frustration. Interestingly, despite their own set of stigmas and societal challenges, the homeless community often shows more understanding and less judgment towards people with impairments. Throughout my journey grappling with a severe disability, they have been a consistent source of support, displaying rare compassion and understanding. Facts are undeniable truths, just as what seems nonsensical can be truths to a minority, often dismissed as nonsense by the majority. Truths can be ambiguous and hidden from each other, yet glaringly obvious to those directly affected by them. In our interactions with others, it's crucial not to judge, as your truth may greatly differ from theirs. Your understanding of the world might be seen as blatant nonsense to them, and vice versa. Not everyone can comprehend all truths or the nonsensical assumptions never equal genuine learning, no matter how obvious they may seem. Consider yourself lucky if you find yourself in a good place, but remember that this good place is not an obvious truth. It's more like unapparent nonsense, subject to change in an instant. As you navigate life's maze, be mindful of others' experiences and perspectives. Incorporating these into your worldview can only enhance your understanding and empathy towards others. Understanding the complex nature of anxiety. Reflecting on my past, I grapple with the question, did I trigger my own downfall, while my decision to drink and drive directly led to the accident, other unseen factors also played a part. This event, as distressing as it was, catalyzed a profound change in my life. Despite 2 decades filled with struggle, rehabilitation, and setbacks, I'm now starting to find some joy in life. However, anxiety remains a constant presence, an unwanted guest that refuses to leave. Living with anxiety is like being trapped in a claustrophobic room, where your mind constantly conjures worst-case scenarios. This barrage of negative thoughts can lead to depression, isolation, and erratic behavior. Anxiety manifests differently for everyone. For some, it emerges during specific events like job interviews or first dates. But for those with chronic anxiety, it's an ever-present condition that can erode self-confidence and distort personal beliefs. In my life, there were times when even stepping into the next room felt like scaling a mountain. Living with anxiety is complex and perplexing, as it can be triggered by many situations without any clear reason. Expressing my struggle with anxiety is challenging, especially when it includes elements that are hard for others to understand. Consequently, feelings get internalized, and before you know it, you're living a life far removed from what it once was. Even with professional help, their methods can feel invasive and lead to defensiveness. Their efforts are appreciated, but a less intrusive approach respecting personal boundaries would be preferred. Understanding the challenges of living with anxiety is difficult for those without mental or physical impairments. Everyday tasks can become overwhelming. Even mundane activities can trigger anxiety, such as watching TV, stepping outside, or even staying indoors. In my case, most brands and things can trigger my anxiety. Despite this, I'm slowly finding ways to cope, with minimal dependence on medication. Living with anxiety means suppressing instinct and impulse, which can be detrimental to health. My coping strategies include washing my clothes in plain water, not brushing my teeth, and eating and drinking in moderation. Suppressing instinct and impulse is not a healthy way to live, but ETA Euro trademark is the only way I know how to manage my overwhelming anxiety. I often find myself pleading, "Heaven help me, please." Life, as the greatest teacher, offers invaluable lessons of resilience and strength that enrich our lives. Being altruistic is a trait that many aspire to have. Altruism, the selfless concern for others' well-being, is a trait many people aim to embody. This noble quality involves prioritizing others' needs, fostering community, and promoting a culture of generosity. It is highly valued in society, making it a characteristic many aspire to cultivate. Friendship is more than a precious gift, it is a necessity for human survival and growth. It constitutes a significant part of our social fabric, facilitating the exchange of ideas, emotions, and experiences. Personally, my passion for writing has often superseded the pursuit of friendships. However, this doesn't imply my work is entirely altruistic. I am motivated by a deep-seated calling to complete my work, which I believe can positively impact the world and effect meaningful change. My moral compass keeps me steadfast on this path. It's not selfish desires or an overflow of sympathy, but rather my deep-rooted sense of responsibility towards my craft that propels me. Over my life, especially in the last 2 decades, I have witnessed the harsh realities of wrongful parenting, societal isolation, and crippling behaviors. These experiences have shaped my understanding of pain and adversity, informing my work. I have experienced the effects of deviousness, trickery, disbelief, humiliation, chastity, and beliefs. These characteristics cast a shadow over my existence, but their intensity has decreased after years of resilience and determination. My journey has been marked by continuous self-improvement and learning from past experiences. Peter M. Hacker, in his book Moral Powers, A Study of Human Nature, argues that a person's life trajectory relies on their choices. However, I disagree with this notion. I have experienced my personal dignity's violation, and the exercise of free will turned into grace. Everyone deserves respect, but I feel my respect was chastised. The journey of rebuilding self-respect is arduous, fraught with hurdles, and accompanied by feelings of remorse and repentance for past deeds and thoughts. The solitude and loneliness I experience seem to be a fitting punishment for unintentional mistakes. However, I am determined to deliver my ideology, which I believe is virtuous and can bring about positive change. The Teenage Brain. In her book The Teenage Brain, a neuroscientist a Euro trademark S survival guide to raising adolescents and young adults, the author explores the unique challenges and opportunities presented by the teenage brain. From my personal standpoint, my understanding of the teenage brain is greatly influenced by the insights provided in the aforementioned book. The teenage brain is in a critical developmental stage. It is capable of remarkable learning. But the vigor of adolescence may lead to impulsivity, risk-taking, irrational decisions, mood swings, and poor judgment. As adults, it is our responsibility to guide them during this transitional period. Teenagers may appear mature, but their brains are still developing. Hormonal changes add Another layer of complexity. Their brains can signal dangers in crisis, but the frontal lobe, which is responsible for decision-making and problem-solving, may fail to respond to obvious cues. It is crucial to educate teenagers about alcohol's dangers and empower them to make informed decisions. The teenage brain, while incredibly vulnerable, is also powerful, leading to often irrational behavior. Alcohol can directly affect brain synapses and memory. The earlier and the larger the quantity of alcohol consumed, the more severe the damage can be. Understanding the long-term effects of alcohol and questioning if the temporary high is worth the potential damage is crucial. Bias. The majority's perceptions often neglect the minority's experiences. In my books, I aim to validate and reassure those individuals who lack a platform to voice their views. I resonate deeply with Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s words that we will have to repent in this generation, not just for the vitriolic words and violent actions of the bad people but for the appalling silence of the good people. This notion is further explored in Dolly Chugga Euro Trademark S book. A Euro or eth person you mean to be a Euro. We don't always live up to our ideals. Most people consider themselves good, but everyone has different realities. Some of us harbor biases towards particular minority groups, often resulting from ignorance or a firm belief in being right. I am no stranger to this bias. I once offered to help a woman in a wheelchair at a grocery store, only to be rebuked. I realized then that I am biased against the very group I am trying to help. It's a stark reminder of the battle ahead. A revolution requires both heat, extreme movements, novelty, and light, protest at an entry level, resolution, to make a significant impact. I have spoken publicly and written books on multiple causes that I, a Euro trademark, am passionate about, such as disability inequality, anti-drink/drug driving, parenting, society, and mental health. I strive to be as honest as my life realistically permits. I am aware that some of the stigmatizing thoughts that cross my mind are disturbing. Even though they seem unintentional, primarily due to my uncomfortable history of deep psychological effects. By my late 30s, I had grown considerably, particularly in the last 6 months since my late maturation. During this time, I developed certain identities that I am not proud of. However, I ensure that these identities have little to no effect on the real world as they remain confined to my mind. Still, I won't deny the possibility that someone might be aware of these troubling thoughts. I try to resist these thoughts by thinking positively, a method often recommended for counteracting negative thinking. Moving from being a good person to a goodish person isn't wrong. It's important to acknowledge feelings of unease and guilt. Dealing with shame is difficult, but I believe my past mistakes serve as valuable lessons that prepare me for entering uncharted territories and contributing to a greater humanity. Stereotypes often share common features such as competitive threat and low warmth. A communal being, on the other hand, exhibits high warmth and competence. High or low status affects groups. Stereotypes of black people, homeless individuals, drug addicts, and people with disabilities are all considered low status and low competence. Psychological safety can sometimes prevent us from acknowledging our biases. However, adopting a growth mindset allows us to introspect, learn by taking risks, and deepen superficial friendships. It's a choice between willful ignorance and willful awareness. Nervousness and ignorance can be combated by adopting a growth mindset. We are faced with another daunting task. The mere words sex and gender are considered unconscious bias. Sex is biological, while gender is social. Binary categories lead to more exclusion, but since everyone is excluded from something, we should all strive to become conscious of our invisible biases and improve our self-awareness. This will lead to better individuals and, consequently, a better world. If we view people as competent, we perceive them as individuals. Low competence or status results in perceptual changes in visual acuity, leading to dehumanization, a form of stereotyping. I don't want to be influenced by the warm glow effect and base my work on savior mode or sympathy mode, as these approaches indicate that I am not reciprocating and basing my work on my own needs. While I disagree with D. Chugh, I have learned to tolerate my own needs. To a certain extent, I feel sympathy for minorities because I am part of this group. I believe in my work and feel that to whatever extent it may be considered savior mode, it will help various groups, from minorities experiencing prejudices and inequality to majority groups grappling with unconscious biases. It encourages engaging in conversations about issues that many are biased about. As a white male, I have some degree of privilege. However, as a disabled white male, my privilege differs from that of women, black individuals, the homeless, drug addicts, or alcoholics. My best intentions are with this book, and I hope that regardless of how you perceive me, you will look at the messages I a Euro trademark am trying to convey. I am doing my bit to improve humanity's dismay. Comprehending microaggression offenses. In our diverse society, phrases like a Euro e some of my friends area Euro a Euro or a Euro e I know exactly what a Euro trademark re going through a Euro are often spoken innocently. However, they can inadvertently lead to feelings of exclusion and misunderstanding. Personally, I can assure you that these phrases often foster a sense of alienation instead of admiration or understanding. Diversity isn't about lumping individuals together under a single label. It's about embracing and understanding the unique experiences each person brings to the table. This is particularly important for people with disabilities, whose experiences span a vast and varied spectrum. As we navigate our diverse world, it's crucial to be conscious of the subtle acts that can include or exclude others. These acts, while seemingly insignificant, can profoundly impact how welcome someone feels. By focusing on inclusion and carefully considering our words and actions, we can reduce these unintentional slights. This evolution of our behavior is integral to creating a more understanding society. Understanding unconscious bias. Everything you need to know about our hidden prejudices by author Annie Burdick delves into the subject of bias. Like every human, you are not immune to unconscious bias, which is unintentional and often slips under our conscious awareness. This differs from conscious bias, which is intentional and overtly harmful. The first step towards countering these biases is to become consciously unbiased, which involves recognizing and challenging your preconceived notions. Our brains, wired to take shortcuts for efficient functioning, have developed biases over time that we're often unaware of. Societal influences play a significant role in shaping these biases. Trauma too can lead to deeply rooted bias, which can only be combated through active recognition and understanding. Stereotype threat influences individuals based on factors like religion, sexuality, and background. It's not uncommon to witness active bias in everyday scenarios, with people often categorized by their gender or race. The study of bias is a lifelong journey, requiring constant vigilance and self-reflection. It's crucial to ensure that bias, unconscious or not, does not translate into discriminatory actions. Bias is a human characteristic, not a moral failing. Promoting acceptance, empathy, and diversity are critical steps towards combating bias. Disability is a widely prevalent bias that the community often unconsciously normalizes. Bias pervades even sectors like healthcare and education, disproportionately affecting people with disabilities and different races or ethnicities. Understanding your own biases requires education, research, and a deep dive into self-understanding. Having open conversations about your mission to uncover your biases is necessary. Online tests for implicit biases can be a helpful tool. It's not uncommon to underestimate yourself or harbor negative thoughts about your abilities. Take time to reflect and learn more about your own biases. Reacting to bias, becoming an ally, and speaking up when you witness bias are proactive measures one can take. It's necessary to stand your ground but avoid aggression. Challenging and conquering bias, while challenging, is worth the effort and can be empowering. Always question, always reflect, and strive to add a touch of love to the world. Unspoken agreements, a hidden nemesis. To start, it's crucial to acknowledge the existence and influence of silent agreements. These are unwritten understandings that govern our daily interactions, whether we're conscious of them or not. They can effectively resolve situations with an infectious power, but their potential for harm is often overlooked. Silent agreements, rooted in assumptions of similarity and unity, can cause significant upheaval even as they form a vital part of human interaction. Despite our evolution as a species, we still struggle to understand that while convenient, these silent agreements should not be solely relied upon. Have you ever used the phrase "that goes without saying"? This suggests that some agreements are inherently understood. However, it would be beneficial to discuss your level of certainty and your perceived similarity with others. This can prevent confusion and misunderstandings which can lead to relationships faltering. It's safe to say that your understanding of humility and connectedness might not be completely accurate. It's unrealistic to expect everyone to agree on everything, and it's vital to understand that assumptions are often incorrect. Relationships are a complex blend of emotions and understanding, and communication adds to this complexity. Our beliefs can lead us to different perceptions and interactions with the world. Living in a rich, social environment, life is a highly detailed puzzle that continually challenges and surprises us. Reference: M. L. Owens, S. R. Banks, and L. D. Anderson said, avoiding conflict does not usually lead to peace, which emphasizes the importance of addressing and resolving silent agreements to maintain peace and harmony. Silent agreements and the importance of openness, a closer look. Honesty and transparency about your thoughts and feelings are essential. However, this openness should be discreet. Your deepest thoughts and emotions should only be shared with those closest to you, those who have earned your trust. This advice comes from personal experiences with trust, deceit, and betrayal. It's not a universal rule, but a guideline based on lessons learned. Silence should not be the default, on the contrary, open dialogue can often be the solution. Honest conversation can mend rifts, heal wounds, and bridge gaps. The issue of awareness exclusion, the invisible barrier. I want to highlight a struggle faced by many, including myself, one that is reflected in the actions of many people. It's born out of being a person with a disability and battling severe mental health issues. Large sectors of our community lack genuine awareness. Have you ever offered assistance to a disabled person with a task you find simple? Have you ever unintentionally patronized or underestimated someone who is different from you? These are the issues I'm referring to. These actions stir bitterness, resentment, feelings of inadequacy, and isolation. Even the most civilized members of our society can unknowingly exhibit microaggressions that deeply affect others. In Michael Baron and Tiffany J. Nauro trademark S book, Subtle Acts of Exclusion, I learned that labeling a person, particularly a black person, as articulate can be perceived as a microaggression. This was an eye-opener. The need for greater awareness and understanding is dire. The process of understanding, comprehending, and providing critical feedback on another a Euro trademark S experiences is an essential step towards personal growth and becoming a more empathetic individual. Microaggressions, subtle forms of discrimination that are often unintended, can have a profound impact. There have been discussions on documenting these microaggressions, which would undoubtedly lead to a greater understanding of how seemingly innocent words or phrases can cause offense or discomfort. In my experiences with disability, I often encounter unintended microaggressions or subtle acts of exclusion far more frequently than outright discrimination, prejudice, or stigma. This highlights a need for greater awareness and understanding of microaggressions in society. Seemingly harmless descriptions of individuals based on physical factors can constitute microaggressions. Assumptions, treating individuals with less dignity, and stereotyping are all forms of microaggressions that should be recognized and eliminated. Language plays a vital role in our interactions with others and our understanding of the world. This is why EDA Euro trademark is vitally important to foster open and respectful conversations about our differences. Maura Cullen, in her book A Euro OE35 Dumb Things Well-Intended People Say A Euro makes a powerful point. She suggests that the old saying A Euro sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. A Euro should be changed to A Euro sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will scar a lifetime. A Euro the impact of words and statements on people can be deep and lasting. And becoming aware of this is an admirable endeavor. Understanding lesser-known forms of discrimination, such as microaggressions, can make you a more understanding and compassionate individual. We still have a long way to go, but every step towards understanding and acceptance counts. The repetitive delivery of seemingly unimportant comments can become tedious and tiring, leading to perceptions of overreaction. Communication is key in any relationship, and perhaps I could have done a better job of expressing my frustrations. However, the effects of brain damage can make this incredibly challenging. There is often a communication disconnect between privileged and disadvantaged groups. When a person feels understood, they are more likely to respond positively. Consider the energy required to constantly suppress upsetting comments, whether intended or unintended. The famous quote by Sir Edmund Burke, "A Euro earth only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing." Ga Euro is particularly relevant in this context. When it comes to disability, society often turns the other way. This can result in disabled people feeling like they are being argued with or denied their rights. Overcoming bystander behavior and standing up for what is right takes courage. From cause to effect, a profound journey of transformation. Participation in an action inevitably leads to experiencing its consequences. To put it simply, I made a decision to drink and drive. As a result, I had to endure a rigorous 20-year journey of recovery, live with a disability, face societal distortions, and experience everything from subtle microaggressions to altered expressions. The mantra, "A Euro alive until you die," A Euro took on a new meaning as the person I knew myself to be seemed to die. I often daydreamed about starting life anew, using my existing knowledge and embarking on a fresh journey of learning. This desire, although not as I had imagined, became a reality. I had to relearn everything, from basic actions like eating and drinking, to walking and talking, to understanding emotional life and the process of learning. It took me 20 years to fully appreciate the transformation born of devastation that I was granted. Inspiration breathed life into me again, maybe for the first time. Before this life-altering experience, I existed but did not truly live. My narcissism deceived me into believing otherwise. Although my current life may not be one that many envy, the exploration into audiobooks, research, and various studies have breathed new life into my soul. I feel more alive than I have in years, filled with desires and dreams about what I can contribute to others. My long-awaited rejuvenation is slowly taking place, with a return to public speaking, educating the masses, and successful writing. Through my trials and tribulations, I, a Euro trademark VE, learned that our lives are only complete when we engage in two key areas of development: opportunity and restraint. Treat every opportunity as a chance to fulfill your potential, and exercise restraint to keep everything within reason. However, don't let this limit your vision. Use restraint to control your ego and your environment. Use your energy wisely and let your authentic power and inherent value shine. Intention before action is critical in this vast learning environment we inhabit. I, a Euro trademark VE, always had the intention, even unconsciously, to improve the world. This intention didn't a Euro trademark T immediately translate into action, but it gradually led me to start public speaking, run a blog, manage a web page and message board, and write and publish books. I have one book in the process of publishing and have started another, each carrying very different but equally important messages. Impact, the essence of living a fulfilling life. The essence of living a fulfilling life lies in following and loving intuition, allowing it to guide our actions and influence our outcomes. It is key to do this with love and genuine passion. I remember a time when I lost some of my power to an addiction that I did not acknowledge or strive to overcome. This addiction, coupled with a false sense of invulnerability, led to a catastrophic event that shook my world. My reality bent and I found myself existing in a parallel world, far from the reality I knew. I indulged in alcohol, driving myself into oblivion, giving in to the addictive pull. It is essential to remember, however, that addiction is not stronger than the soul. I managed to maintain a precarious balance without achieving complete healing. I questioned whether my struggle was greater than my desire to overcome it. I did not believe so. I had previously defied the odds, proved naysayers wrong, and experienced empowerment even without total alignment with my true self. I made conscious choices, each of these choices added to my life via Euro trademark S lessons, serving as guides in my healing process. I did not feel truly satisfied until I saw the fruits of my labor. Wisdom whispers in my ear that I have made mistakes, but my personal choices have not always reflected wisdom. Perhaps there is a divine reason for my inability to comply. Unquestioningly, I have faith in my intuition, especially when it leads me towards achieving greatness and reaching a state of utopia. My anticipation for evolution and growth is nothing short of perfect. Embracing a step away from your usual self, a new perspective. Although ETA Euro trademark is crucial to understand and deeply connect with your own persona, I found success in distancing myself from an identity centered around disability. Completely separating oneself from such an identity is nearly an impossible task. While I have not entirely achieved this, I have made significant strides, more so in attitude than in physical terms. I no longer see my disability as a major debilitation, as I feel reborn after years of intensive rehabilitation. However, this newfound perception of myself does not always translate to those who meet me. Onlookers, especially those who see me for the first time, may perceive a lack of ability and confidence. They may recognize strength and determination, or they may see weakness and clumsiness depending on their personal biases and perspectives. However, these external judgments do not infiltrate my mind, as I understand that everyone is on their unique journey, following their own intuition or behaving instinctively. In my journey, I found comfort in disidentification. I am not the best psychologist, am I? But this could be a good thing. Disassociating from an identity that makes you feel vulnerable and part of a marginalized group can be liberating and empowering. The collective human assumptions about disability made this a group I felt compassion for, but did not want to be associated with. During my research, I encountered many individuals with disabilities who were truly admirable. Some of them even managed to capture my heart, as I recognized the struggles they faced and their relentless efforts to advocate for disability rights. My experiences with severe brain damage meant that most of the people close to me had the same injury or illness. This resulted in a great diversity of personalities, and including my past self, we were all unable to make significant contributions to enhance disabled lives by educating society about our experiences. This greatly influenced my ongoing perspective of my own group. Nevertheless, I harbor an ambition to join some of these remarkable individuals I have seen doing commendable work to promote disability awareness. Reference: The Seat of the Soul, Gary Zukav. The Comprehensive Journey of Acquiring Knowledge and Understanding, the Process of Learning. Learning is a fascinating journey that involves making connections and associations with our experiences, much like Ivan Pavlov's famous classical conditioning experiment. In this study, a bell was consistently rung at mealtime for a dog. Over time, the dog began to salivate merely at the sound of the bell, even without food present. This response highlights that learning is fundamentally a form of conditioning. When an event or stimulus is repeated, it becomes deeply imprinted in our minds, triggering physical or mental responses to associated stimuli. Simply put, our brains learn to anticipate and react to certain cues in our environment through repetition and association. Association. We can learn from both positive and negative experiences. Association allows us to connect events and experiences, helping us learn from them. For example, we learn to avoid things associated with unpleasant outcomes. Conditioning. Conditioning profoundly influences us at a deep psychological level. For instance, consistent societal treatment of disabled people can influence and alter our behavior. Children, who learn effectively through imitation, are a prime example of this concept. As they grow, they learn more from demonstrations than from verbal descriptions. This theory is also applicable to adults. Moreover, adversity and suffering can lead to change and growth, transforming negative situations into learning experiences. Reference: For a more comprehensive understanding of learning processes, refer to Josh Eiler's Learn Faster and Better. The Power of Friendship, an in-depth exploration. Friendship, a fundamental bond in life, is an essential need deeply rooted in our instinct to belong. As Lydia Dunworth describes in her book, A Eurofriendship, the evolution, biology, and extraordinary power of life. A Euro trademark S fundamental bond. A Euro trademark, the essence of this bond is of monumental significance. During quiet, introspective moments, when daily activities recede and the world around me falls silent, I find myself compelled to write about something of immense significance in my life. This profound element, which I currently miss, is the comforting companionship of friendship. Its absence has stretched far longer than I ever wished or imagined, and in its place, loneliness has become a constant companion. Despite meeting various individuals, none have shown the profound qualities and companionship that I seek. This is not an overstatement or a product of unreasonable expectations. Past enriching experiences have equipped me with the ability to recognize genuine qualities when they appear. My current lack of friends and state of loneliness can be attributed to my disability. Despite reducing stigma associated with disabilities, society often overlooks individuals with disabilities as potential friends. Moreover, issues related to mental health and past behaviors, fueled by intoxication, have reinforced prejudices. My true self only emerges when I am entirely at ease and in a reciprocal relationship. The importance of attachment and the basic human drive to connect with others is critical at all stages of life. Studies have shown that the absence of love and care can lead to devastating consequences. The presence of love and attachment in a child a Euro trademark's life shapes their entire future. The importance of relationships extends beyond childhood. Learning to love and form meaningful relationships is instrumental in leading a fulfilling life. This principle of interconnectedness is consistent across all species. Altruism, the selfless act of serving others, is a major aspect of social relations. The initial 1000 days of a child a Euro trademark's life are a period of growth and discovery. They demonstrate a marked preference for human faces and voices, indicating that the fundamentals of social communication start early. Touch, the most developed sense in a newborn, plays a crucial role in their growth. A lack of physical contact can lead to numerous issues. Reflecting on my own childhood, I remember being an extremely social infant. However, life took a dramatic turn when I was 7 years old. This change, along with a severe car accident that led to my disability, affected my socialization. My disability induced a sense of isolation. Environmental factors, lifestyle choices, and the level of social integration or isolation can significantly determine ONI Euro trademark's health and physiology. Social relations are intrinsically linked to health, as stress and social isolation are significant causes of mortality. The connection between cigarettes and death, as well as the lack of social support, is directly linked to mortality. These social factors trigger physiological differences, and relationships can alter physical responses to stress. Loneliness has been the root cause of my pathologies. Individuals who perceive high levels of support tend to show less cardiovascular aging. The social environment plays a crucial role in deciding which genes are expressed. As a highly social person, I thrive on interaction. My level of social support or isolation directly influences the expression and activation of my genome. The support I a Euro trademark VE received has increased my self-belief and confidence. A comprehensive 75-year study states that the only thing that truly matters in life is our relationships with other people. A popular TED Talk affirms that good relationships keep us happier and healthier. It further emphasizes how beneficial social connections are for us and how detrimental loneliness can be. Embracing your existence and manifesting destiny. Life is a journey. On this path of self-discovery and personal growth, certain thoughts, beliefs, and affirmations must be deeply internalized and confidently expressed. It's crucial to understand and believe that, despite life's challenges or obstacles, the divine has countless blessings for each of us. Every decision we make is guided by divine wisdom. This wisdom acts as a compass, ensuring our steps and choices align with the universe's grand plan. It equips and prepares us for our life's journey, enabling us to accomplish our lifetime's goals. Within each of us resides a power that lets us rise above adversity, stand strong during trials, and triumph even in defeat. This power is not exclusive, it lies dormant within us all, waiting to be awakened and harnessed. The power of affirmations, a tool for personal transformation. Affirmations are a powerful tool for recognizing and acknowledging one's worth and potential. They serve as daily reminders of our capabilities and inner strength. The following affirmations can be incorporated into your daily routine to foster positivity and personal growth. I acknowledge my worth and deserve all the universe has to offer. I possess the ability, support, and knowledge to achieve my goals, no matter how ambitious. There is no challenge too great for me to overcome. I attract success, love, fulfillment, health, and creativity. My self-worth is tied to my success and continues to grow each day. I acknowledge my talents and potential, and can manifest them to enrich my life and the lives of others. I excel in what I do and have many gifts and talents to share with the world. I offer dependable support and friendship to those I love. My family, friends, and partner cherish and appreciate me, and I am worthy of their love and affection. I live in abundance, supported by divine grace. A wealth of experience, a journey through life. A Euro trademark S crucible. Life is a profound tapestry of experiences, with each thread symbolizing a specific event or phase. Some threads represent harsh and seemingly unfair realities, but they often add the most depth and character to the overall tapestry. They serve as valuable lessons that shape our identities. It's only when we observe this tapestry from a distance, armed with the wisdom and maturity we've gained over the years, that we realize the true worth of these experiences. These experiences have left an indelible mark on my life and played a pivotal role in shaping my identity. My work serves as a testament to these experiences. I've learned through the furnace of experience lessons I wish I had known earlier. I feel a powerful sense of responsibility to impart these lessons to others. I believe that devastation, while challenging to endure, provides fertile ground for learning, and I hope to spare others from learning these lessons the hard way. Despite being an introvert, I've always felt a compelling urge to educate others about the significant life lessons I, a Euro trademark VE, learned. For a long time, I underestimated my abilities and the wisdom I had accrued. Life has been my greatest teacher, imparting wisdom that can be pivotal in leading a successful and fulfilling life. I hope to equip individuals with the knowledge and wisdom that can guide them in navigating their own life journeys. The first 2 decades of my life were relatively uneventful. However, life, with its unpredictable nature, had other plans. I found myself grappling with unemployment, struggling with my studies, and searching for purpose and meaning in all the wrong places. Friendships gradually faded away, and life became more solitary. This period was a journey of self-discovery and personal growth. My childhood was idyllic, filled with adventures that seemed straight out of a fairy tale. I lived with my mother and sister, and even when a man moved in with us, he was never able to fulfill the role of a father figure for me. I learned about the complexities of emotions and the masks people often wear to hide their true selves. As I reflect on my life, I consider myself to be relatively fortunate despite the trials and tribulations I have faced. ETA Euro trademark S essential to remember that there is always someone worse off than us. Our lives are a balance of good and bad experiences, and ETA Euro trademark S important to appreciate both. Once, I had a close-knit group of friends with whom I could share my time and experiences. In hindsight, I wish I had appreciated these friendships more. As life became more solitary, I found solace in my vivid imagination. However, I often downplayed my talents, leading me to believe that I was nothing special. My vivid imagination played a significant role in shaping my life. I learned to harness the power of visualization for healing, a tool that proved potent and transformative. My imagination provided a refuge from reality's discomforts, and my mind became my companion and sanctuary. I don't a Euro trademark T have a wealth of good memories to look back on. Negative memories seem to surface more easily than good ones, which is why I choose not to revisit the past. Looking back, I wish I had been encouraged to explore my potential more. I have gleaned invaluable insights from my interactions with others and learned to discern hidden motives. I value intangible qualities such as independence and responsibility, as these form the foundation of adulthood. Childhood can be likened to a construction site. Just as the tallest buildings require the strongest foundations, children need a robust foundation of values and lessons to grow into successful adults. Throughout my life, I have felt a strong desire to express myself. Although I am inherently reserved, I have a wealth of knowledge and wisdom to share. The challenges I faced after my idyllic childhood forced me to confront reality and led to a deep understanding of life. Now, in my middle age, I realize that the seeds I had sown in my youth did not yield a bountiful harvest, but I remember the diamond seeds of wisdom and knowledge I had sown long ago. At the age of 21, I had a drink-drive car crash, which mangled my introduction to adulthood. This experience led me to a place of appreciation. I embarked on a self-made mission and discovered that vibrant mind is nice but not necessary for a happy, productive, and creative life. He was a man of boundless imagination who dreamt dreams so vivid, they could create entirely new worlds. He had a vision to drastically change the statistics for drink driving. The numbers, which had remained stubbornly high for years, have dropped nearly by half in the last 2 decades. He began life lacking substance and life skills education, overflowing with a sort of naive self-importance. He was a dreamer, but his dreams lacked ambition. An inner voice kept whispering promises of a better future. This was the divine speaking, a higher power guiding his thoughts which he failed to recognize then. In the early years, he lived life with little regard, gratitude, and belief. His mind constantly questioned, why am I so fortunate to have all this? Unable to mature in his previous reality, he was thrust into a twisted new one where he was forced to grow up. He advises to be mindful of how and what you speak, think, write, or visualize. Only do these with positive intentions to allow your best to emerge, and it surely will. Start from where you are. Euro trademark re-at, the impact of personal choices. In his exploration of the construction of social reality, John R. Searle poses the question, how can there be a reality independent of us? This statement prompted a lot of introspection in me. Initially, I believed in the existence of an independent reality. However, upon reflecting on my past actions and thoughts, I realized that my current circumstances were shaped by my actions and those of others. Searle also investigates how the various parts of a world relate to one another, a topic I have explored in my other works. Years ago, I was advised to foster positive thoughts and believe that we create our future. I didn't a Euro trademark T take this advice to heart and learned its importance the hard way. While hard work may seem daunting, there were times in my life when it was the only way forward. Inspired by something I read, I once wrote that choosing the challenging path leads to greater Satisfaction upon reaching the end. The narrow gate may be difficult to find, but it leads to greater satisfaction. On the other hand, the broad gate, though easier to find, only leads to ruin. How did I contribute to my dependent reality? I failed to practice what successful actors, athletes, and business professionals do: owning oneself, controlling productive thoughts, and refraining from speaking ill of oneself or others. I a Euro trademark VE faced my share of difficulties, and I don't a Euro trademark T plan to revisit them. Unless time travel becomes possible and allows me to return to a specific point in my past while retaining all the lessons I a Euro trademark VE learned, along with my memories and abilities. In my other works, you'll learn a lot about your views, society, disability, conditioning, the mind, and more, all with a strong message against drink driving. Returning to my past, which continues to influence my present, it's a concept some people struggle to grasp. This occurred as a result of my actions, advice from others, and the broader picture having an effect. You might say that a Euro trademark is obvious, but this is how it works for everyone. Yes, I made some false statements and shared unhealthy thoughts, some of which were communicated via text message. These became my reality, a reality that contradicts who I truly am. Never speak, think, write, or text negatively about yourself or others unless you want to face the consequences. Energy plays a significant role here. Some people may sense the negative energy, which can affect your next interaction or even that persona Euro trademark este. If you emit negativity, it will come back to you. So, ensure you only emit positivity, and it will return to you. Avoid dwelling on unfavorable times, or they will only worsen. I grew up acutely aware of my surroundings for various reasons. Although this can be bothersome, it also leads to the development of certain social skills such as astuteness, empathy, and alertness. While there are less dramatic ways to train the mind, I believe that natural selection and instinctive behavior have a greater impact, unless training is undertaken with dedication. A head injury can have a profound impact, affecting emotions, personality, judgments, thoughts, senses, as well as physical abilities. Also, understanding all the above can change dramatically over time and with familiarity. Unless you have a reason not to realize equal citizenship, you might not appreciate the struggles of facing an Euro understanding a Euro society. Some people lack comprehension and people skills when they want to meet new people. Avoidance comes in various forms. The most harmful one is the uneasiness about certain issues a person may have. This can cause long-term damage to the person suffering and reinforce the beliefs of the person causing it. PIPA Euro trademark S worldviews are altered every day by those who choose to avoid them, and they will not know any better. Class interests seem little differentiated when it comes to attitudes. Yes, there are people who take advantage, people who oversympathize, people who assume they are superior, and a few who consider that all have rights, along with all the distortions in between. The ideology of the disabled is not met by many classes, but then again, is anyone a Euro trademark S? Everyone in society participates in reality knowledge. Some are aware of some of another a Euro trademark S knowledge, some are not. We can never know all of another persona Euro trademark S knowledge, and they can never know all of ours. I argue that disability is one of the most difficult lived experiences, and the behavior of others is mostly due to unfamiliarity. Knowledge is lacking, and even getting close to understanding. A disabled persona Euro trademark S knowledge is, for lack of a better word, one of the impossibilities of life. Integrated thought largely determines how a person with a disability is treated, and equally determines the response. Due to the discomfort of familiarity, anger may be exhibited, but survival instincts will fight against the reaction to display refusal to acknowledge. The dual nature of society, in terms of objective facts and subjective meanings, shapes each of our realities. How do subjective meanings become objective facts? Or, in other words, how does someone not taken seriously become someone who is really alive? Knowledge guides the conduct of all people in everyday life. The extent depends on how that knowledge is acquired and what is done with it. I am reminded of a saying, just because you have arrived, it doesn't a Euro trademark T mean you have gotten there. What will you do while you Euro trademark re there? Who will you remember, and who will remember you? Whether it a Euro trademark S a serious car crash, a splinter, or emotional unrest, the memory of trauma, regardless of its size, is how phobias are formed. Remembering causes distortions, so the event is most likely not remembered accurately. In my view, fear can be encapsulated within a cycle of trauma, memory, and phobia, which can be recalled accurately. It is a complex and potent emotion that can dictate our actions and reactions. Most individuals naturally shy away from discomfort, whether it a Euro trademark S within themselves or observed in others. When confronted with a disabled person, they are starkly reminded of their own mortality, and memories of their own near-miss incidents or close shaves with danger are brought to the fore. These incidents, which may have been pushed to the back of their minds, are suddenly made more tangible and real. The mind, by its very nature, is risk averse, and such reminders can cause a considerable degree of discomfort. Now, let a Euro trademark S delve deeper into my personal definition of disability prejudice. When people see me lurching along, an uncomfortable feeling may creep over them, perhaps even a sense of fear. They might hastily jump to conclusions, assuming I am intoxicated. After all, unpredictability is a common thread that runs through both inebriation and disability. People typically do not know how to react in these situations. Perhaps they comprehend the debilitating nature of my disability, and this realization breeds more discomfort. I want to clarify here that not all these people are inherently malevolent. Some display empathy, some are grateful that they are in a Euro trademark T in a similar situation, others are merely curious. The ones who are truly detrimental are those who instantly perceive an opportunity to exploit the situation negatively. But you may wonder, can this exploitation ever be a positive experience? The answer is yes. For instance, once a mother stopped me on the street. She was trying to educate her child about disabilities and asked me to explain my condition. She hoped to teach her child that disabled people are just as normal as anyone else, that we all have our unique stories, and that a Euro trademark S generally acceptable for them to approach us. In this instance, she was leveraging her encounter with a disabled person for a positive cause. However, her approach was flawed. Her delivery was riddled with microaggressions, her tone was condescending, and her questions were overly simplistic, even for a child a Euro trademark S comprehension. Her actions were a manifestation of most of what a Euro trademark VE described above, and the child could sense her apprehension. This incident ended up teaching the child more about fear and prejudice than about understanding and acceptance. Now, in the world, you will encounter every kind of person, from the one being questioned to the one asking the questions, and their motivations can vary widely. Some are naive and patronizing, while others are insensitive and exploit the situation. Then there are those who empathize with disabled people and choose to work in the realm of care, although there are also horror stories about them. We all interpret and experience the world based on our thoughts, emotions, actions, and what we perceive through our senses. We are conscious of our actions, past and future, and they influence our worldviews. Some experiences can incite fear, while others can enrich our lives with new insights and understanding. ETA Euro trademark is crucial to maintain control over the factors that trigger your internal responses and stay resilient enough not to succumb to negative influences. Master the art of creating your own life. It not only provides more rewards for yourself, as the release of serotonin when the mind senses reward, but ETA Euro trademark is also beneficial for others. Your mind will recognize the reward, leading to a greater release of the feel-good chemical. You don't a Euro trademark really need to rely on external substances like drugs or alcohol. The intricacies of the mind, a personal journey. In an era where science and society intersect with the pursuit of a fulfilling life, a myriad of complications arise. These complications consist of tangible elements like facts, figures, and tests, as well as more human elements like jealousy, secrecy, and deception. On my journey, I've encountered additional complications such as self-interest and deceit, some of which have surprisingly come from those perceived as enlightened. My path towards mental awareness began after a severe car accident, which led to a diagnosis of mental illness. The medical professionals caring for me struggled to pinpoint a specific diagnosis, a situation complicated by factors like divine revelation, conflicting intentions, hidden motives, and the influence of intoxicants. It's crucial to be conscious of the intention behind any experience. Without this awareness, opportunities for learning and growth can be missed. Initially, I thought I understood the intention and followed it. However, I found myself wrestling with questions about morality, my obligations and rights, and the reality of the world. The first challenge was an unfair disadvantage in preparations. This was followed by subconscious programming of inaccurate thoughts and beliefs, which resurfaced during specific events. This journey, filled with trials, has led me to respect the human mind more. I became attuned to subtle cues revealing deeper truths than words could, and lived in a constant state of fear. This fear was a barrier that prevented me from accessing wisdom. I realized that to overcome this barrier, I needed to explore new paths. I delved into understanding reality, the human mind, and thought processes. I deconstructed the false beliefs ingrained in me and replaced them with a new intention, paving a different destiny than the deceptive one set for me. People with disabilities often face societal ignorance. Despite not choosing this burden, I believe it made me stronger. You might wonder if this is a boast or genuine wisdom. If you're seeking the answer, I invite you to witness the validity of my warnings. Reconnecting with reality is vital to avoid falling into the abyss. You may then discover services you thought were only for the needy. It's important not to be dissatisfied with your lot in life. Dealing with scrupulousness for 2 decades is challenging, and maintaining contentment can be an uphill task. How does your struggle compare? If you believe you've had a difficult time, let me share my first-hand account of difficulty. Prepare yourself for a tough pill to swallow. Understanding the subtle art of bias, a deep dive. In today a Euro trademark society, we often encounter statements like a Euro girls are good with numbers a Euro trademark and a Euro boys excel at football a Euro trademark. These represent unconscious biases that have been embedded in our society over time. Gender and disability biases are often instilled in us from a young age, perpetuated by parents who unknowingly pass these biases onto their children. However, Unconscious bias doesn't account for all forms of prejudice or discrimination. 4. Instance, disability bias remains largely unexplained and is often seen as an assumed predisposition. Whether people exploit or pity those with disabilities, discrimination is a widespread and unfortunate reality. These biases are often ingrained through societal and parental conditioning. Comedians frequently use these unconscious beliefs to deliver punchlines, making them a common element of our lives. Left-handed dominance has been discriminated against for years. Everyday tools like scissors or cameras, designed for right-handed use, demonstrate how deeply rooted these biases can be. While it's impossible to completely eradicate biases as they're implicit, it is beneficial to become aware of them. By understanding how we're unconsciously influenced by social media, advertisements, news, and mainstream media, we can better understand ourselves. Our instincts and first impressions play a significant role in our lives. When professionals misjudge their first impressions, they may perceive a concerned parent as overreactive. Bias can be pervasive, as shown by numerous studies indicating that certain demographics, such as mothers and girls, are less likely to be taken seriously by the medical profession. To fully understand human behavior, we must consider the environment, context, and cognition. This helps explain the vast differences across cultures. Conformity is a powerful force that shapes our world, influencing what we choose to remember. Overconformity can lead to children thinking eat a Euro trademark is inappropriate to make eye contact with a person with a disability or to stare. Our behavior can change drastically depending on whether we are in public or at a private gathering. The presence of other people significantly affects interactions, as has been proven in several studies. A comprehensive preview of my life experience. Reflecting upon my life, I realized that what I once considered supernatural has evolved into a prominent part of my existence. This understanding has become the governing principle of my life, reminding me that all actions, especially unjust ones, have consequences. Disability is more than just visible physical effects. It is a personal experience that often erodes confidence and leads to a shift in cognitive control over chosen functions. Amidst my struggles, I found passion to inspire others. Throughout my life, there has been a metaphorical light switch, glowing brightly yet just out of reach. It was only in the last decade that I began to appreciate and utilize my strengths and talents. If you have a talent or hobby you're passionate about, consider how you can leverage these to advance your career or earn some money. When I started driving, I experienced the disastrous effects of drinking and driving. I crashed my car, leading to a 5-month hospital stay and nearly a decade of intermittent stays in mental health units and hospitals. Viewing an occurrence from multiple perspectives can lead to proficiency in any area. This is true not only in the mentioned context but also in tangible aspects of life. A person is the product of their life script, and the social world is a similar product, filled with dialogues and interactions. The product, in turn, influences the producer. The insights in this book are objective and should be taken seriously. They have the potential to significantly improve lives. My aura communicates a powerful message against drunk driving. Despite the consensus against drunk driving, many people still engage in this dangerous behavior. The reason we haven't collectively grasped the severity of this issue is that the lessons are not taught effectively. To communicate a lesson effectively, make it visual. Show the consequences, audibly. Highlight the dangers, and engage their imagination to understand potential losses. This approach will make people think twice about drink driving and the decisions they make in other aspects of their lives. Mastering the art of communication with kids, A comprehensive guide. Parenting is often portrayed as a journey that can only be truly understood once embarked upon. As a parent, I can confirm this. However, it's important to acknowledge the complexity underlying this life-changing experience. Parenting extends beyond just providing basic necessities like food and shelter for your child. It involves a wide range of responsibilities that require a careful balance of love, patience, and understanding. These responsibilities include daily routines like mealtimes and bath times, but also stretch to managing illnesses, scheduling and attending doctor visits, helping with homework, and navigating emotional upheavals as our children grow. In essence, the list of parental responsibilities is indeed endless. Amidst all these tasks, the primary goal is to lay a solid, unshakable foundation for our children and impart valuable life lessons. Effective parenting is founded on several key principles, the cornerstone being acknowledging our children's emotions. It's crucial not just to recognize, but also to understand their feelings without questioning or offering unsolicited advice. Children deeply desire to have their feelings heard and understood. As parents, we can facilitate their emotional growth by using complex words in context to enhance their vocabulary and cognitive development. Negative responses often arise when children's feelings are denied or discouraged. Conversely, accepting and acknowledging their emotions can create a sense of comfort and security. It's also important to make the child feel respected by listening attentively and responding empathetically. Don't just agree, delve deeper into their statements or moods. Provide specific explanations, and foster empathy. One constructive way to channel children's anger is through physical activities and creative outlets like drawing. Encourage your child to express their feelings through these mediums. More often than not, you'll see a transition from angry scribbles to drawings of happy, smiling faces. As parents, we must acknowledge all feelings and set clear boundaries. Remember, even a simple presence can work miracles when children are upset due to tired or busy parents. Communication isn't always verbal, nonverbal expression plays an equally crucial role. Let your child perceive the emotions in your tone and gestures, but avoid endorsing self-directed name-calling. A simple, calming response can often lead to self-directed problem-solving. By describing their feelings, they feel accepted, which can be incredibly impactful. Encourage your child to perceive situations from different perspectives. Avoid dismissing their negative feelings as it could lead to a worse reaction. Even if their statements seem flawed or defeatist, don't argue, instead, agree and allow them the freedom to imagine. Stating the obvious can be comforting for kids. Reassure them that you understand their challenges and emotions. Real listening requires effort and patience. Instead of imposing a list of DOA Euro trademark S and DONA Euro trademark TS, foster an environment of mutual understanding and cooperation. Keep the dialogue open and always acknowledge and praise their efforts. A valuable resource on this topic is A Euro How to Talk So Kids Will Listen. And Listen So Kids Will Talk. A Euro by Adele Faber and Elaine Majlish. They highlight the reality that children don't always follow what parents say. A Euro They instead observe and imitate what parents do. Reflecting on my own childhood, I realized that my past errors in judgment were partly due to a lack of knowledge inclusion in my upbringing and a reluctance or imposition during my teenage years. It's important for parents to reflect on their methods, compare notes, and make necessary adjustments. Parenting is a challenging journey, but there are some common life scripts that I feel were missing from my youth, and I was allowed too much free rein. When my parents don't accept my views, dispute most of my statements, and feel they did adequately, I believe in adopting a holistic and inclusive approach towards communicating with kids, considering their developmental stage and worldview. It's essential to include coping strategies and ways to interpret various situations, using metaphors to depict reality. Avoid using simplistic language, instead, use descriptive words that evoke emotional responses. If the reaction was inappropriate, guide towards the correct response. Discontent often leads to becoming distant from others and objective reality, based on personal experiences. The most affecting disagreements don't necessarily revolve around major topics, it's the accumulation of little conflicts that can have a significant impact. In conclusion, acknowledge and consider all feelings. Avoid masking emotions, as these hidden agendas teach the child more than explicit lessons. Even if they don't fully understand, they sense the underlying confusion. This could unintentionally mislead them. Therefore, remain open about feelings and assumptions. Don't deny feelings, instead, open a dialogue. And foster an environment of understanding and acceptance. Further references that could assist in navigating the terrain of parenting include Behavior in Public Places by Irving Goffman and the book You Wish Your Parents Had Read, and Your Children Will Be Glad That You Did, by Philippa Perry. Stolen. My consciousness was abruptly seized and thrust back into a harsh reality. Upon waking, I realized that people I trusted had deceived me through their lies, exploiting my vulnerability, and leaving me with a sense of betrayal. I have a vision for the world. I believe we all contribute to the creation of our reality, as every individual we interact with is influenced by our thoughts, dreams, and words. Essentially, we are the architects of our own reality. In my life, I've had vivid imaginings, like a vibrant shirt with an array of colors. I will delve into why these emerged later in life in a future discussion. My journey involves grappling with disability and mental health issues. I see them as challenges rather than limitations, and they can lead to considerable disturbances within oneself and society's understanding of that person. People learn to develop resilience and lose inhibitions. I've experienced severe trauma, but extensive rehabilitation facilitated my recovery. I can attest that physical ailments can improve, as I continue to evolve in mind and body, even 20 years after my traumatic incident. Incidents such as children on the road, the boy at the traffic lights, the woman at the railway, are part of a single journey. These illustrate why certain individuals may appear indifferent to others' existence, and why we may sometimes act rudely or out of character. Disability can significantly alter social interaction dynamics. The subconscious mind influences our conscious decisions. You'll find yourself making choices that you once denied or disagreed with. Expressing gratitude for minor courtesies. Your mind, now in survival mode, takes control. There were moments when I couldn't believe my actions or thoughts, as they contrasted starkly with my past beliefs. If you ever regret drink driving, you'll find yourself in survival mode, with your mind leading the way. If you sustain an injury, you lose. Trust is a powerful concept. The key is to trust in yourself and believe that life is good. Even if you deem it untrue, life after an accident will leave you no choice but to learn this lesson. Acceptance is a vital part of my journey. I've always refused to accept my disability. My new reality cast a shadow over my previously healthy life. When I left the hospital, I was advised to make my wheelchair a constant companion. However, I vowed it was the last time I would ever use it, and so it was. At first, I stumbled everywhere, with numerous falls and difficulty navigating stairs. But I was convinced I could improve. Despite my disability, I refused to let it define me or limit my potential. I've spent 20 years in pursuit of physical and mental recovery, and I refuse to accept being treated as I was initially. I seek equality, not sympathy or special treatment. During my rehabilitation, I realized I wouldn't be able to sketch or write with my dominant hand. I decided to stop my hand therapy, a significant moment for someone who preferred the easier path. Despite this, I found a determination within me to work hard, and the results came quicker than expected. Looking back, I see that shortcuts were taken. With more dedication, I might be physically better off today. However, I use my impairments to deliver powerful messages. My physical struggle serves as a poignant reminder during my anti-drink driving lessons. I consider myself incredibly fortunate. Despite my challenges, I've turned them into powerful lessons and use my experiences to educate others. I'm not just surviving, I'm thriving. Ascension resonates with all of humanity. For disabled people, this need for ascension is more challenging. They are not merely ascending a physical or metaphorical mountain, they are ascending their unique set of rules and limitations. These rules are not of their choosing but are imposed on them by the reality of their disability. This is a reality that I have experienced firsthand. The despair of being enveloped by an abyss only truly becomes tangible when you find yourself in its depths. Disability commonly implies physical impairment, but it also encompasses mental disabilities, adding complexity to the already difficult task of emotional ascension. This makes overcoming basic emotions and mental states even more arduous. Help often comes from hidden sources, ranging from the wisdom of ancient Greek philosophy to modern drug therapies. My journey required the use of drugs, especially after rehab. Different effects are hinted at throughout this journey, but ultimately, recovery is a deeply personal process of change. The question of whether a meaningful life can be reattained remains open. Humanity's opposition can often decline power and happiness. I do not intend to return to my old view of disability, suggesting we always have something to complain about. Before judging this perspective, consider the experience of being in this place, where complaints become constant companions, and the stigma of stigmatization is a burden that most healthy people will never fully understand. In this book, I share experiences that have moved adults to tears during rehab and left students in stunned silence. This is not a boast, but an invitation for you to understand the profound nature of what you're about to explore. Life is about preserving meaning and making choices that respect oneself and others, such as not drinking and driving, not discriminating, or passing judgment. This material aims to provide a guide to assist in maintaining satisfaction with life. I'm not claiming to have had the worst experience, but it was bad enough to make you pause and consider your resilience. These words are meant to resonate with you, stirring action for avoidance or improvement in many life aspects. Whether you choose to remain as you are or reconstruct your identity, remember that a multidisciplinary approach to existence can take on a different meaning after trauma. Throughout human existence, altruism and friendship have been deemed precious for life. Quality and continuity. I have often prioritized my writing over companionship. However, I don't consider my dedication to my work as purely altruistic. I feel an overwhelming calling to complete it and believe it will have a profound impact on the world. My moral compass keeps me steadfast on this path. Not driven by selfishness or sympathy, I continue my journey. I am familiar with sorrow, having experienced life's hardships over the past 2 decades. These adversities have stemmed from misguided parenting and societal isolation, along with debilitating actions that were crippling. Yet, I persevered, and these traits have gradually diminished. Peter M. Hacker suggests in Moral Powers, a study of human nature, that man can choose to ascend or descend the moral ladder. I disagree. My dignity was usurped, and free will was replaced by grace. Respect is everyone's fundamental right. I believe my self-respect was eviscerated. Now, I'm on a journey to rebuild it, feeling remorse for my past deeds and thoughts. The isolation and loneliness I'm experiencing serve as punishment for my delayed awakening and unintentional infliction of shame. Yet, I still hold on to the belief that I will fulfill my duty, maintaining my virtuous ideology even after my rationalization was rendered invisible. I'm incapable of wickedness, but I have had my share of falls. I acknowledge I've committed detrimental acts due to unconscious reactions to supernatural evil. Anyone in any society can encounter monstrous evil. However, larger evils exist beyond my personal demons. The Holocaust and similar atrocities are glaring examples. Sometimes, one's morals can consume one's soul, often resulting from unintentional negligence. Moral degradation has found its place in our world.